Welcome to another deep dive. Today, we're going to be exploring the connection between meditation and the autonomic nervous system. That system that controls our breathing and heart rate and how we react to stress.
That's right.
And we're really going to be focusing on how long-term advanced meditation can really reshape the autonomic nervous system. We've got some incredible research and personal accounts to dive into, so get ready to be surprised.
Yes, we'll be looking at how different meditation styles actually seem to have different effects,
Yeah.
even within the same tradition.
Hmm.
Some meditations seem to bring on deep relaxation,
Right.
while others activate what we often call the fight or flight response.
Yeah.
So it really isn't just about how long you meditate for, but also the quality of the meditation and the specific technique you're using.
That's so interesting. And some of the sources you gave me mention expert meditators having these unusual patterns in their heart rate variability,
Yes.
almost like a physiological fingerprint of deep meditation. But before we get into those specific techniques, can you give us a little breakdown of the autonomic nervous system,
Of course.
like how it works and how scientists measure its activity?
Absolutely. The autonomic nervous system, or ANS, is kind of like your body's autopilot. It's always making adjustments to keep everything running smoothly, whether you're aware of it or not. It has two main branches, the sympathetic and the parasympathetic.
Okay.
And you can think of the sympathetic nervous system as your gas pedal,
Hmm.
the one that gets you ready for action. It's that burst of energy you feel when you're facing a challenge or you're in a stressful situation.
Right.
The parasympathetic nervous system is more like your brake pedal, helping you to relax and recover.
Okay. So when my heart's racing before I have to give a big presentation,
Yeah,
that's my sympathetic system kicking in.
exactly.
And then later, when I'm chilling out, reading a good book, that's the parasympathetic taking over.
Precisely. And to study how meditation impacts these systems, scientists use a variety of methods. Heart rate variability, or HRV, is a key one. It measures the tiny fluctuations in the time between your heartbeats.
Okay.
Other measures include things like skin conductance,
Hmm.
which reflects sweat gland activity, and even just breathing patterns. All of these things provide a sort of window into how your ANS is responding in different situations.
So we can actually see the impact of meditation on these measurements.
Right.
But how do we know if it's really just basic relaxation that's causing those changes, or is there something deeper going on?
That's where the research gets really interesting. You see, it turns out that there isn't one universal effect of meditation on the ANS.
Hmm.
Different styles seem to engage different parts of the system. One fascinating example is heartfulness meditation, which focuses attention on the heart. Research has shown that it can actually trigger both sympathetic activation, that arousal we were talking about, and vagal suppression, which is part of the parasympathetic system.
Wait, hold on. Both at the same time.
Yes.
I thought those two systems were supposed to, oppose each other.
You would think, right. It challenges our assumptions about meditation being solely about relaxation. And it's not just heartfulness meditation either. Compassion-based meditations, where you're cultivating feelings of empathy and kindness, those can also activate the sympathetic nervous system.
So caring for others on a physiological level could actually be energizing
It seems that way.
rather than just a passive feeling. I mean, do you think this challenges our traditional views about emotions at all?
It certainly raises some questions about how we categorize emotions.
Mm.
Maybe compassion and other emotions we tend to see as passive actually have this um, active, energizing component to them. And what's even more intriguing is that even really subtle differences in technique within the same tradition can actually result in completely different ANS responses.
So we can't just lump all meditation together then.
No, we can't.
Can you give us an example of how different techniques, even within the same tradition, can affect the ANS differently?
One study found that practitioners of Rinzai Zen, which is known for its emphasis on sudden enlightenment, actually showed increased parasympathetic activity compared to practitioners of Soto Zen,
Right.
which focuses more on gradual awakening through seated meditation. So this suggests that even those subtle variations in technique can lead to very different physiological responses.
So the nuances of practice really matter.
They do.
This is making me even more curious about those expert meditators and the those unusual heart rate patterns they show.
So to be clear, it's important to distinguish between long-term and advanced meditators.
Okay.
Long-term just means that somebody has been practicing for years, But advanced implies that they haven't just been practicing extensively, but that they've actually reached these uh, profound meditative states, like the states known as jhanas in
Yeah.
Buddhism.
Right, now you've really piqued my
And
interest.
too.
What exactly are jhanas and how do they differ from regular meditation? What makes them so profound?
Jhanas are progressively deeper states of meditative absorption. Each one is characterized by specific mental qualities and shifts in bodily experience. There are 8 classical jhanas that are described in Buddhist texts, and they each build upon the last, leading to a more and more refined state of tranquility and absorption.
So it's like leveling up in a meditation video game.
I like that analogy.
You start with these basic techniques and then progress through the jhanas,
Yes,
each with its own unique qualities and challenges.
that's a great way to think about it. So the first jhana, for example, it's characterized by the sense of rapture and joy, along with an initial withdrawal from sensory distractions. It's like stepping out of that busyness of everyday life and into this uh, tranquil oasis.
Oh, that sounds lovely. So what happens then as you move into like the higher jhanas? Do the feelings of joy and rapture just keep intensifying?
It's not quite like turning up the volume on those feelings. As you go through the jhanas, that rapture and joy, it gradually transitions into a deeper state of tranquility and equanimity.
Okay.
The focus gets incredibly refined, and you experience this sense of detachment from your thoughts and emotions,
Oh.
a kind of stillness that's hard to describe.
So it's not just about feeling good.
Yeah.
It's more about cultivating a more stable, balanced state of mind.
Exactly.
Does this inner shift have any measurable effects on the body?
This is where the connection to the autonomic nervous system gets really fascinating. As you go deeper into jhana, your breathing and heart rate slow down significantly.
Right.
And your body enters this state of profound relaxation. Some researchers believe that this relaxation response in jhana is it's actually qualitatively different from, say, what you'd see during a nap.
Oh, interesting. So what makes the jhana state unique compared to like regular relaxation? Are there specific physiological markers?
One key finding is that advanced meditators practicing jhana sometimes they exhibit a distinct peak in their heart rate variability
Okay.
at a very low frequency, around zero point 0.1 hertz.
Wow.
And this peak is it's rarely observed in people who don't meditate, and it seems to be linked to deep meditative absorption.
So it's like a physiological signature of jhana,
Right.
a way to tell if someone is really truly in that deep meditative state.
It's a promising indicator,
Mhm.
but we do need more research to confirm that it's specific to jhana. But it does point to something unique happening in the ANS during those states. Something beyond just simple relaxation.
This is all so fascinating.
It is.
But for those of us who aren't, practicing jhana, can we still experience these benefits to the autonomic nervous system through other types of meditation?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
While jhana is it's a specific path of meditative development, it's not the only one.
Right.
Lots of different meditation styles can positively influence the autonomic nervous system,
Okay.
promoting relaxation, focus, and emotional regulation.
So the key is to find a practice that resonates with you
Yeah.
and to be consistent.
Yes.
It's not about chasing some specific state, but about incorporating a practice that fits your life
Right.
and that supports your well-being.
Exactly. And remember, even short periods of meditation can be beneficial. The key is consistency and an open mind.
I'm still really curious about the subjective experience of jhana. Can you paint us a picture
Sure.
based on the research and what experienced practitioners say
Yeah.
of what it actually feels like to move through these different stages?
It's challenging to capture the experience of jhana in words, you know, because it's ultimately it's a subjective phenomenon.
Right.
But based on descriptions from seasoned meditators and insights from research, I think we can try to give you a glimpse. So imagine you're settling into meditation, your attention gently resting on your breath.
Oh.
And as your mind calms, this sense of ease and well-being starts to arise.
Yeah.
Thoughts and distractions, they gradually recede, and this feeling of deep contentment washes over you. This is often described as the first jhana.
That already sounds like a nice break from the daily grind. What happens next?
Well, as you continue to focus your attention, that feeling of contentment, it deepens, and you might experience this wave um, rapture and joy.
Really?
This is the second jhana. It's characterized by a profound absorption in the object of meditation.
Rapture and joy. That definitely sounds intriguing.
It's a beautiful state,
Yeah.
but it's not the final destination.
Yeah.
As you move through the subsequent jhanas, that rapture and joy, they gradually transform into a subtler, more stable form of happiness.
Okay.
And so in the third jhana, you experience a profound peace and contentment that isn't dependent on external circumstances.
So it's not about chasing fleeting pleasures,
Oh.
but about cultivating a deeper, more lasting form of happiness that comes from within.
Precisely. And as you move into the fourth jhana and beyond, that sense of peace and equanimity, it deepens even further.
Wow.
You experience this sense of detachment from all thoughts and emotions, a state of pure awareness that's it's incredibly difficult to articulate.
That sounds almost beyond comprehension. It's amazing to think that that our minds are capable of reaching those profound states of stillness and clarity.
It's truly remarkable.
Hmm.
And uh, while jhana is this highly refined state that requires a lot of dedicated practice to attain, we can experience glimpses of these states in our everyday life.
Really?
Think about those moments when you're completely absorbed in an activity you love, playing music or creating art or being out in nature.
Yeah, those moments where everything else just seems to fade away.
Exactly.
And you're just completely present, immersed in the experience. It's like a taste of that deep concentration and tranquility that's cultivated in jhana. Precisely, even though those moments are fleeting,
Yeah.
they show us what's possible.
Exactly. They offer a taste of that profound peace and well-being that can be accessed through meditation.
I love that. It makes jhana seem a little less mysterious
Yeah.
and a little more attainable. You mentioned that jhana is linked to these unique changes in the autonomic nervous system. What are some of the specific physiological phenomena that are observed during those states?
One of the most remarkable findings is that during jhana, the breath can actually become incredibly subtle,
Wow.
even to the point where it seems to stop altogether for brief periods.
Really?
This is a phenomenon known as breath suspension, and it's been observed in advanced meditators across different traditions.
Okay.
It's thought to reflect a state of uh, profound physiological stillness.
Wait, so the breath, it actually stops?
Yeah.
That sounds almost impossible. Is that even safe?
It's certainly it's a remarkable phenomenon,
Yeah.
but it's important to understand that this only happens in seasoned practitioners. People who've really trained their minds and bodies to function at a very refined level.
Oh.
And even in these individuals, the breath suspension is it's temporary. It lasts for just a few seconds or minutes.
Okay, that makes me feel a little better. But what could possibly explain this breath suspension? Is it just that they're breathing so shallowly that it becomes undetectable?
It's not just a matter of shallow breathing. Researchers think that breath suspension might reflect a state of deep metabolic efficiency,
Right.
where the body's oxygen demands become so low that that breathing is almost unnecessary.
It's like their body's entering a state of like hibernation, but they're still fully conscious and aware.
It's a fascinating analogy, and it speaks to the incredible capacity of the human body to adapt and function in ways that we're only just beginning to understand.
It really challenges our assumptions about what's possible.
It does.
Are there any other notable physiological changes that are associated with breath suspension?
Research on breath suspension is still it's still in its early stages,
Right.
but some studies have observed shifts in heart rate variability, brainwave patterns, even skin conductance during those episodes.
Okay.
It seems to be a whole body response, not just a respiratory phenomenon.
That's incredible. It highlights how interconnected all of our physiological systems really are,
Yes.
and how deeply meditation can really impact the whole organism. But this brings up an important question: Is it safe to practice jhana?
Yeah.
Are there any potential risks or drawbacks to consider?
That's a crucial question, and it's one that should be approached with caution and respect.
Mhm.
While jhana is generally considered safe when it's guided by experienced teachers, and approached gradually, there can be challenges,
Okay.
particularly for people who have certain psychological vulnerabilities or pre-existing conditions.
So it's not something to just dive into without proper guidance and preparation.
Exactly. Finding a qualified teacher and practicing within a supportive environment is really essential.
Right.
It's also wise to consult with a healthcare professional before beginning any new meditation practice,
Hmm.
especially if you have any concerns about your physical or mental health.
That's great advice. Let's shift gears for a moment
Yep.
and discuss the potential benefits of jhana.
Okay.
We've talked about the physiological changes and the subjective experiences, but what are some of the long-term effects that practitioners report? Does it extend beyond just, the time spent in meditation?
Jhana is often described as a transformative practice that can lead to really profound shifts in perception, emotional regulation, and even a person's sense of self.
Wow.
Practitioners report increased clarity, equanimity, and compassion, as well as a deeper understanding of the nature of reality.
So it's not just about achieving temporary states of peace and relaxation.
Right.
It can actually lead to lasting personal growth
Yeah.
and a more profound way of being in the world.
That's the idea. And while those claims may sound extraordinary, there's growing scientific evidence to support them.
Really?
Studies are starting to show that long-term jhana practice is linked to structural and functional changes in the brain.
Interesting.
This includes increased gray matter volume in areas associated with attention, emotional regulation, and self-awareness.
That's incredible. So Johnny can actually reshape the brain in ways that support greater well-being
It seems that way.
and a more balanced way of being.
It's truly remarkable. It highlights the plasticity of the brain
Right.
and its capacity to be molded by experience,
Hmm.
especially meditative experience.
Right.
The potential for meditation to induce lasting changes in our cognitive and emotional abilities is it's vast.
This has been an eye-opening exploration of jhana.
Good.
Before we move on, can you briefly recap the key takeaways for our listeners?
Of course. Here are a few key points to remember about jhana.
Mm-hmm.
It involves progressively deeper states of meditative absorption, each with their own unique mental and physical characteristics. Jhana is also linked to profound relaxation, breath suspension, and those distinct heart rate variability patterns that we were talking about earlier.
Right.
It's a pathway to cultivating lasting peace, clarity, and equanimity, and it requires dedicated practice and ideally guidance from an experienced teacher.
That's a really helpful summary. Now, I want to touch on a concept that we've alluded to. The idea of enlightenment. Many traditions view jhana as a path to enlightenment or awakening.
Right.
Can you shed some light on this connection? What
Yeah.
does enlightenment even mean in this context?
That's a complex topic. It's been debated by philosophers and spiritual teachers for centuries. But in essence, enlightenment is often described as this state of liberation from suffering. It's a deep realization of the true nature of reality and a profound sense of interconnectedness with all beings.
So it's more than just feeling happy or peaceful. It's
Yes.
about a fundamental shift in consciousness
Yeah,
and how we perceive ourselves and the world around us.
exactly. While jhana may not be a direct path to enlightenment, it's often seen as a crucial stepping stone. It cultivates the concentration, clarity, and equanimity that are essential for deeper spiritual insights.
So it's like laying the groundwork for a more profound awakening.
Precisely. By training the mind to be calm, focused, and present, jhana creates the conditions for experiencing a more expansive and liberated state of being.
That's beautifully put. But let's be realistic. Not everyone who practices jhana will achieve enlightenment.
That's true.
What are some of the more tangible benefits that people might experience from this practice?
Sure.
How can it enrich their lives even without reaching that ultimate goal?
Even without reaching that ultimate goal of enlightenment, jhana can have a profound impact on one's daily life.
Okay.
Practitioners often report experiencing increased focus, emotional resilience, and compassion. They also describe a greater sense of peace and well-being, even amidst life's challenges.
So it's about cultivating qualities that can really enhance our lives,
Yeah.
regardless of our spiritual beliefs or aspirations.
Absolutely. Jhana is it's a practice that's available to anyone who's willing to put in the time and effort.
Right.
Even small steps in this direction can bring about meaningful changes in our lives and in the world.
That's a powerful message. Before we move on to the next fascinating topic, what are some of the key things that researchers are still trying to understand about China?
Sure.
Where's the science headed?
That's a great question. Despite the growing body of research on China, there's still so much to explore. Here are a few areas that researchers are actively investigating: the precise neurological mechanisms underlying the different jhanas and their associated physiological changes, the long-term effects of jhana practice on brain structure and function,
Okay.
the potential therapeutic applications of jhana for mental and physical health conditions, and the relationship between jhana and other altered states of consciousness,
Right.
like those induced by psychedelics.
Those are some exciting avenues of research. It sounds like there's a whole universe of possibilities waiting to be discovered as we delve deeper into the science of Chana.
There certainly is. As our understanding evolves, I'm confident that we'll continue to uncover fascinating insights into the potential of the human mind and body.
Well, this deep dive has definitely been an eye opener.
Ooh.
But before we move on, I want to shift our focus to a topic that's closely related to jhana,
Okay.
the fascinating interplay between the heart and the brain. You mentioned earlier that that sustained meditation practice might actually reshape this communication. Can you tell us more about this connection?
Sure.
How does the heart actually communicate with the brain?
The heart and the brain are in constant communication, influencing each other's rhythms and patterns through a complex network of nerves, hormones, and electromagnetic fields.
Okay.
And what's remarkable is that this communication isn't just one way. The heart actually sends more signals to the brain than the brain sends to the heart.
Wow. I always thought the brain was the one calling the shots.
It's a common misconception. The heart is it's much more than just a pump. It's an intelligent organ that plays a vital role in our emotional and cognitive experiences, and the quality of this heart-brain communication can really impact our overall well-being.
So how do these two organs communicate, like in practice?
Right.
What are the signals they're sending back and forth?
One key measure of heart-brain communication is heart rate variability, or HRV, which we talked about earlier.
Right.
HRV reflects those subtle fluctuations in the time intervals between heartbeats. It's a good indicator of the balance between the sympathetic and parasympathetic branches of the autonomic nervous system.
So if I understand this correctly, higher HRV generally means a healthier heart-brain connection.
That's right. Higher HRV is generally associated with greater emotional resilience, better cognitive function, and improved physical health. Conversely, low HRV is linked to stress, anxiety, and an increased risk of cardiovascular disease.
That makes sense. But where does meditation fit into all of this? How can it influence this delicate balance between the heart and the brain?
Research has shown that meditation, especially practices that cultivate feelings of love, compassion, and gratitude, can profoundly impact HRV, increasing its amplitude and complexity. So it's not just about calming the mind,
Okay.
but also about nurturing positive emotions that can directly improve heart-brain communication.
So by cultivating positive emotions, we're essentially sending calming signals to the heart,
Yes,
which then sends signals back to the brain,
right.
creating this more harmonious feedback loop.
Exactly. It's about shifting out of that fight or flight mode that's driven by the sympathetic nervous system and activating the parasympathetic nervous system, promoting relaxation, and a more coherent heart-brain connection.
It sounds like a beautiful self-reinforcing cycle.
It is.
Meditation promotes positive emotions,
Right.
leading to a healthier heart-brain connection,
Yeah.
which then contributes to greater well-being overall.
Yeah.
It's amazing how these systems all work together to influence our physical and mental health.
It truly is. It truly is remarkable. And the research on the heart-brain connection is it's still in its early stages.
Right.
As we delve deeper, I'm confident we'll continue to discover even more about the power of meditation to transform our lives.
This deep dive has given me a whole new appreciation for the interconnectedness of our minds, our hearts, and our bodies. It's like this delicate ecosystem that we can learn to nurture and harmonize through practices like meditation.
It's a beautiful way to put it, and it really highlights the potential for these practices to create a ripple effect, positively impacting not only our individual well-being but also our relationships and even the world around us.
Before we wrap up this segment, you mentioned earlier that meditation might have a reciprocal effect on the gut microbiome.
Yes.
Can you tell us more about this intriguing connection? How could what's happening in our minds possibly affect the trillions of bacteria that are living in our gut?
The gut microbiome is increasingly recognized as playing a vital role in our overall health and well-being.
Right.
It influences everything from our immune system to our mental and emotional states.
Yeah.
And what's fascinating is that there's growing evidence for a two-way relationship between the gut microbiome and meditation practice.
So our gut bacteria could be affecting our meditation,
It seems that way.
and vice versa.
Yes.
It seems like every time we uncover one connection in the body, it just opens up this whole new web of interconnected systems.
It's it's truly remarkable how interconnected we are, both within ourselves and with the world around us. While the research in this area is still in its early stages, some studies have found that experienced meditators tend to have a more diverse and balanced gut microbiome compared to non-meditators, and this diversity is it's generally associated with better overall health.
That's fascinating. It makes you wonder how meditation could actually change the composition of the gut microbiome.
Researchers are still working to unravel the exact mechanisms that are involved,
Okay.
but they believe that meditation might influence the gut microbiome through several pathways.
Hmm.
Stress reduction. Meditation has been shown to reduce stress hormones like cortisol,
Right.
and high cortisol levels can negatively impact the gut microbiome.
Right.
So reducing stress through meditation could create a more favorable environment for beneficial bacteria to thrive.
Okay.
Reduced inflammation. Chronic inflammation can disrupt the gut microbiome,
Right.
and meditation has been shown to reduce inflammation throughout the body,
Right.
which could indirectly benefit the gut microbiome
Yeah.
and improved vagal tone.
Yeah.
The vagus nerve, which we talked about earlier, plays a key role in regulating gut function.
All right.
And meditation, especially practices like deep breathing, can stimulate the vagus nerve
Right.
and promote a healthier gut environment.
So it's like meditation is a multi-pronged approach to improving gut health
I guess
by reducing stress, lowering inflammation, and enhancing vagal tone. It creates this more balanced and resilient gut ecosystem.
exactly, and this is it's a powerful example of how seemingly disparate systems in the body, the mind, the nervous system, and the gut, are all intricately interconnected.
I'm starting to see a recurring theme here.
Yeah.
Meditation seems to be deeply interwoven with so many aspects of our being, from our brains and hearts to our gut bacteria.
It's truly a holistic practice
Right.
with far-reaching effects.
Before we move on to the final segment of our deep dive, what are some of the key takeaways you want listeners to remember about this fascinating connection between meditation, the gut microbiome, and overall well-being?
Here are a few key points to keep in mind. Emerging research suggests a bidirectional link between meditation and the gut microbiome. Meditation might foster a healthier, more diverse gut ecosystem.
Right.
The potential mechanisms by which meditation influences the gut include stress reduction, decreased inflammation, and improved vagal tone.
Okay.
And a balanced gut microbiome is linked to a variety of health benefits, including better digestion, stronger immunity, improved mood, and even a reduced risk of chronic diseases.
Those are some compelling reasons to consider incorporating meditation into our lives,
But
not only for mental and emotional well-being, but also for physical health. It seems like we're only beginning to scratch the surface of understanding the profound ways in which these practices can benefit us.
absolutely, it's an exciting time to be exploring the science of meditation. There's so much more to discover
Right.
and learn about the potential of these practices to enhance our lives.
Well said. And with that, let's shift our focus to the final and perhaps most mind-boggling topic of our deep dive, the extraordinary world of advanced meditators, and the intriguing, albeit controversial, realm of CDs.
This is where things get really interesting. The concept of CDs, often translated as psychic powers or supernormal abilities,
Mm.
has captivated and puzzled people for centuries.
Right.
While some may dismiss them as folklore or superstition, there's a growing interest in exploring whether there might be more to these abilities than meets the eye.
I have to admit, the idea of psychic powers has always sparked my curiosity,
Yeah,
even if I approach it with a healthy dose of skepticism.
sure.
What kind of abilities are we talking about when we refer to CDs?
Right.
What are some examples?
So cities are said to encompass a vast range of abilities, from clairvoyance, the ability to perceive things beyond the normal range of the senses, to telepathy, the ability to communicate directly with another person's mind, to even more extraordinary feats like levitation and manipulating time and space. It's a captivating and often bewildering realm of human potential.
Those sound like abilities ripped straight from a superhero movie.
They do.
But are there any real world examples of these powers? Has anyone ever scientifically demonstrated these abilities?
That's where things get complicated. While anecdotal accounts of cities abound in spiritual literature and among practitioners of various traditions, scientific evidence is much harder to come by.
So it's like the Bigfoot of meditation research.
Yeah.
Lots of stories and intriguing reports, but no definitive proof that would satisfy the scientific community.
That's a fair comparison, but it's important to remember that the absence of evidence isn't necessarily evidence of absence.
Right.
Just because we haven't definitively proven the existence of cities doesn't.
Welcome back to the deep dive. Before the break, we were just starting to explore the uncharted territory of cities. You know, those legendary psychic powers that are said to be connected to advanced meditation.
Yeah, it's an area where rigorous scientific study is really just beginning, but even the attempt to investigate these phenomena raises some pretty profound questions about the limits of human potential.
I'm still trying to wrap my head around the idea that abilities like telepathy or clairvoyance could be linked to specific states of consciousness. You know, states that meditation might cultivate. It really challenges how we conventionally understand the mind.
It certainly pushes the boundaries of how we think about the mind and its relationship to the world. One model that's been proposed to explain cities is the concept of non-local consciousness.
Non-local consciousness. That sounds like something straight out of science fiction. Can you break that down for us? What does it even mean for consciousness to be non-local?
Imagine that consciousness isn't confined to the physical boundaries of the brain, but rather exists as a field that extends beyond the individual. In this model, CDs could be understood as accessing information or influencing events that aren't limited by space or time,
Oh,
as we
yeah.
normally perceive them.
Okay, that's a pretty mind-bending concept. So it's like our minds are interconnected in ways that that we don't fully grasp, and cities are kind of a manifestation of tapping into that interconnectedness.
It's a possibility,
Yeah.
and there's some intriguing research that hints at this interconnectedness. For example, studies have shown that the brain waves of two people who are meditating together can actually become synchronized,
Wow.
even when they're physically separated.
That's incredible. It's like their minds are resonating with each other across distance.
Exactly. This phenomenon is known as brainwave entrainment,
Hmm.
and it suggests that some level of communication might be happening beyond beyond our typical five senses.
This is all so fascinating. But as we go deeper into these extraordinary claims, where do we draw the line between scientific inquiry and, well, just speculation?
Yeah.
How can we be sure that we're not just, chasing these fantastical claims without any grounding in reality?
That's where critical thinking and rigorous research methods are absolutely paramount. It's crucial to approach these topics with a healthy dose of skepticism,
Right.
demanding evidence-based explanations and avoiding jumping to conclusions based on on anecdotal accounts alone.
So it's about finding that balance between open-mindedness and a discerning eye.
Yeah.
Recognizing the potential while also uh, demanding solid evidence.
Precisely, and that's what makes this field so captivating. It's pushing the boundaries of our knowledge and challenging us to extend our understanding of what might be possible.
Speaking of pushing boundaries, let's talk about the potential risks of pursuing cities. Is there a downside to trying to develop these abilities? Could it be harmful or even lead people astray?
That's an important question to consider. While the pursuit of spiritual growth and self transcendence through meditation is generally viewed as beneficial,
Hmm.
there are potential pitfalls to be aware of, especially when it comes to the to pursuit of cities.
What are some of those potential risks? What should people be cautious of?
Well, one risk is that the pursuit of psychic powers can become very um, ego-driven,
Hmm.
leading to attachment and a desire for personal gain rather than genuine spiritual growth.
So it's like the allure of power kind of corrupting someone's intentions,
It's possible.
shifting their focus away from selflessness and towards self-aggrandizement.
That's a good way to put it. The pursuit of any kind of power, whether it's physical, mental, or psychic, can be a slippery slope if it's not grounded in wisdom, ethical values, and compassion.
Yeah, that makes sense. What other risks should we be aware of?
Another potential pitfall is that the development of cities could lead to psychological instability or even psychosis,
Wow.
particularly for individuals who aren't properly prepared or who have underlying mental health conditions.
Right.
It's like diving into the deep end of a pool without knowing how to swim.
Yeah.
It could be very overwhelming and disorienting.
So it's not something to be undertaken lightly or without proper guidance and support.
Exactly. It's crucial to approach the development of cities with caution, humility, and the guidance of experienced teachers who can help to navigate the potential challenges and pitfalls along the way.
Those are some important points to consider. But let's shift gears for a moment and talk about the positive potential of cities.
Yeah.
If these abilities are real and if they can be developed through meditation, how could they actually benefit humanity? What positive impact could they have on the world?
That's a fascinating question. If cities truly represent a manifestation of a more evolved consciousness, uh, their potential applications could be vast and transformative. It invites us to imagine possibilities beyond our current limitations.
Okay, so I'm trying to envision a world uh, where cities are actually used for good.
Yeah.
What might that look like?
Imagine a world where telepathy fosters understanding and communication between cultures. Breaking down barriers and promoting empathy. Imagine clairvoyance helping us to solve crimes or anticipate natural disasters, mitigating harm and saving lives. Imagine healing abilities, alleviating suffering and enhancing well-being on a global scale.
Those are some inspiring possibilities, but let's be realistic. We're a long way from that kind of utopian future.
True. We're in the very early stages of understanding these phenomena, but the exploration of cities encourages us um, to envision possibilities beyond our current limitations, and to consider how these abilities could be used for the betterment of humanity.
Well said, and I think that's a powerful message to leave our listeners with. It's a reminder that the human potential is vast and largely unexplored, and
Is.
that through practices like meditation, we can tap into that vast potential, cultivating greater well-being, wisdom, and compassion.
And as we continue to explore these frontiers, I'm excited to see what new discoveries and insights emerge.
To our listeners, thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive. We hope you've enjoyed exploring this fascinating world of meditation and its potential to transform our lives.
Remember to cultivate curiosity, keep
Yeah.
an open mind, and embrace those endless possibilities that lie within each of us.
Until next time, keep diving deep.